Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Houseplants, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's out in Allen, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram at Houseplants. That's the fastest way to get in touch with me directly if you have any questions about any of the plants I feature or just want to connect with me in general. So this is actually the evening before Black Friday 2024. I decided that I wanted to make some content to actually present to all of our plant foldies. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. This is actually one of my favorite Lowe's to go to because they typically have some great indoor and outdoor plants. They've got a lot of Costa Farms trending tropical plants that I love, as well as live trends and urban jungle plants. And you know, with Black Friday 2024, I wanted to see if they had any Black Friday specials. I'm curious if people actually shop Black Friday deals. So we're gonna walk in here and see what kind of plants that they have. You can see that it is the holiday season. We're seeing lots and lots of Christmas trees and just a lot of holiday decor. I don't typically actually decorate my house with holiday decor. If anything, I just end up splurging and buying more plants. And you can see right over here, we do have some of these poinsettias, $18.98. And you know, poinsettias are seasonal plants that typically show up in November as well as December. And it's interesting how they mix Epipremnum aureum as well as Hydra helix, or the English ivy, with the poinsettias. These ones are the little dish ones that they have available at most of the Lowe's. And you can see right over here, we've got some more poinsettias. These are all for $26.98. I'm thinking that they would actually have Black Friday deals on plants, or I really do wish that more big box stores would actually have huge Black Friday deals. I'm hoping that in the future, like places like Costa Farms would really have a huge Black Friday deal where like they could have their plants for like 50 to 60% off. That would be awesome. But as you can see right here, it is evening. I'm just glad that I am actually going to have that day off on Thanksgiving. You know, this is filmed a little bit later as I premiere this, but you can see that they have some amaryllis flowers right here. And these are really interesting seasonal flowers. I love the fact that this is a very low maintenance, easy to care for plant because you literally set the bulb on like a shelf next to a window. You don't even really have to water it. It will just grow. And it is a plant that you can plant into your landscape. And it would be something like that would be considered a perennial plant, something that will grow back year after year. But you can see beautiful blooms here. These are already in bloom. And you can see that this Lowe's has a lot of holiday decor. And I did want to ask our plant foldies, you know, what do you decorate your house with as far as holiday decor? Do you put up a Christmas tree? Do you put Christmas lights? Leave that down in the comments because again, I love to interact with all of our plant foldies. I respond to pretty much every single comment that is left for me on the videos, and it just makes the community a little bit more fun. As you can see, I am just walking around and showing you a lot of these holiday plants. So we've got poinsettias, we've got Christmas cactus, we've got Norfolk pine, all of the things that you would typically see at a big box store around this time of the year. And we are going to go out here and I'm going to show you some more of these seasonal plants. So you can see that the outdoor section has a bunch of Christmas trees. These are typically like Italian stone pine or Norfolk pine. So we're just going to walk over here and I'm just going to show you what live Christmas trees they have available. You can see they've got quite a bit of selection in terms of living Christmas trees, as well as these succulent planters, these combination planters. You can see they've got a really nice selection here, and let's see how much it costs. That's not a bad price at all. And what I like about these succulents is it really takes the painstaking of actually having to make a combination of succulents. You have them all ready to go. All you have to do is actually replant them in a bigger pot. And you can see over here we do have some opuncias and we have some crown of thorns. Now with succulents, like I've said in all of my videos, common care tips would be definitely give them fast draining soil. So a succulent cactus mix, if you're going to repot them, make sure that they get lots of bright light, whether it's full sun or just a lot of light. And that's basically it. I know that there are certain ones that would prefer a little bit lower light conditions. I'm not the best at succulents and cactus as far as giving plant care tips, but what I do like doing is whenever I go to Lowe's, I do like to show you all of the succulents and cactus because we do have a lot of viewers that are into these types of plants. I wish I was exposed to more succulents and cactus as a kid. You know, a lot of my interest when it comes to like plants in general or the plants I want to grow are really influenced by my grandmother, and she didn't really grow a lot of succulents, although you can see this one right here is in bloom, and I always find plants in bloom and just, you know, plants that bloom really interesting. What's interesting about plants that bloom easily too is you can actually hybridize them and get even more variety of the plants. You can see that there's so many different types of succulents. They've crossbred them, they've hybridized them. There is a whole process when it comes to that, and you can see over here we've got some more succulents that are in bloom. Now, as far as plant shopping in the holidays, I do feel like I spend a little bit more money in terms of just buying plants. Actually, I've been splurging a lot on plants. For those that have been following my plant YouTube channel for quite a while, the last 2 months have just been a whirlwind of plant shows, and then just me going to nurseries, and then me seeing all of these plants on sale, and then also finding some rare and uncommon plant finds at big box stores. It makes it exciting, but at the same time it also means that my wallet has created a huge hole and I am losing so much money. But you know, it's one of those things where you only live once. I suppose we can all be satisfied with some of the decisions we make with our money. I say if the plant does bring you joy, go ahead and buy it. You know, consider it a Christmas present to yourself or a treat. We all work very hard for our money. Although I would also say if you are going to go buy plants, try to buy them when they are budget friendly. And, you know, ways to save money on plants is, you know, for instance, if you go Black Friday shopping, sometimes, you know, local nurseries may have some really big plant sales, as well as, you know, looking for plants and just comparing and contrasting plant pricing. I know I go to a lot of big box stores, and you'll see that I pretty much have memorized what the plant pricing is for a specific plant. So if you haven't already and you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that's where I'm based at, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on. That way you're always in tune with all of the plants that are currently making it into the market, and you'll be in tune with the plant pricing. I think that's super important. And you can see I've walked through a forest of live Christmas trees. Now, I love the smell of live Christmas trees. I think there is such a nice holiday fragrance about them. I don't really know a lot about the care tips for the live Christmas trees. So for those that actually put up a live Christmas trees, let me know what you do to keep them alive during the holiday season, as well as what kind of like holiday decor or what kind of Christmas tree themes that you've actually created with your Christmas tree. I remember doing an origami Christmas tree theme where I basically folded a bunch of origami ornaments, and it was a really interesting and very cost-effective way as far as like Christmas decor was concerned. So you can see though, all of the big box stores, whether it's Home Depot, Lowe's, and I believe even Walmart, have some live Christmas trees. And what I love about going late at night, just going big box store plant shopping, is there's really not a lot of people out here, so I can freely roam around around and film and take that content. I try to respect people's privacy in terms of just not getting people in any of my plant shopping videos, because not everybody is really comfortable about being on social media. You know, people ask me all the time, and seriously, they really ask me all the time why I am not showing my face on YouTube. I would prefer to do a faceless YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that do faceless, and to me it becomes more of a focus on the plants versus me as an individual. Now, if I was doing like personal blogs or doing lifestyle stuff, that might be a little bit different, but really I want to have that, you know, that definite separation with my social media presence versus my day-to-day life. I think that we always have to create some boundaries, and for now I'm going to be faceless. Who knows, if you guys follow the Cultivation Corner podcast, for instance, I might do a face reveal there. And for those that haven't subscribed to the Cultivation Corner plant podcast, that is a collaboration project that I'm doing in terms of just talking about plants with my friends Janae, Simone, and Steven at I Lift Plants. So make sure you guys are subscribed to their channel. We have been working very tirelessly on that plant podcast. Season 1 is fully filmed. We have it edited, and our debut, our premiere, will be on Monday, December 9th, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on my YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys will all tune in and really support our project. There's not a lot of plant podcasts out there. If you know of any plant podcasts, please leave it in the comment section. I would love to listen to some plant podcasts or even a plant show. It is a plant podcast / show. So I'm hoping that all of our plant content is going to really be entertaining for everybody. There is a lot of discussion on so many plant topics, but going back onto the actual plants that we have available here, you can see that there are some leftover plant containers, combination plant containers. We have a bunch of these alocasias, for instance, as well as just some of these outdoor plants that could be considered perennials. I saw a lot of this actually more so in October. You can see these are by Nature's Way for $34.98, and I really like that Asiatic jasmine. I like the variegation because it actually pushes out more of like an orange tone. And speaking of orange plants, orange flowers, I have been really getting into the color orange. Maybe it's because, you know, the fall season was in full effect. We're about to head into winter, but seeing a lot of browns, yellows, oranges, I don't know, I started to really look at plants, you know, specifically crotons, for instance, where they have a bunch of those different types of fall colors. And you can see right over here, we do have a bunch of Christmas trees, some smaller ones. These are for $27.98. And again, I love the fragrant smell of live Christmas trees. I think it really does remind us of the holiday season. But as you can see here, I'm just gonna walk around and just show you what other plants they have available in the outdoor section, as well as some of their holiday plants. And plant foldies, you can see that this Lowe's does have quite a bit of like seasonal decorations. You can see these little wooden reindeers, pretty cool looking display right here. And I'm just going to keep walking around and showing you some more holiday decor. Let me know in the comments what you think about some of the holiday decor. If you've already put up your Christmas tree, if you already put up all of your Christmas lights, all of that. I'd love to hear from you. The insights again from all of you guys, as far as just leaving commentary in the comment section, really bring me a lot of joy. I learn more about all of the viewers as well. And you can just see here, as far as the seasonal festive decor, I would say the live Christmas trees are definitely a plus because they do have that fragrant smell. And then just all of the seasonal things like this, you can decorate for sure in the holidays. And you can even see right over here, this one really does smell fragrant. This is only for $10.98. So I'd like to hear your comments or what you think about this. And as far as Black Friday shopping, I am curious to see if anybody did get some really good deals during Black Friday 2024. I actually splurged on a couple of things during Black Friday. Definitely got some really good plant products, for instance, and I even went to some of the local nurseries that were actually doing some Black Friday specials and got some really nice plants. I also did another plant import with a bunch of friends to see if we can get some really nice plants because they even had some Black Friday specials with some of these importers. So I love the fact that the holiday season, it is all about, giving plants, but I always feel like we should also treat ourselves when it comes to plants in the holiday season, as far as like Black Friday or even Christmas. Give yourself the gift of joy by buying yourself plants. And this is a reason why I do go to these big box stores and show you all of the plant shopping videos. I know that a lot of these plants are typical plants that you've seen in previous videos, but I love just talking about plants. And to all those that have actually taken the time to watch my videos, to engage with me during the live premiere chats, you already know who you are. Thank you so much. I hope we continue to have our little plant parties. Maybe talk about the plants that we've purchased recently, especially for Black Friday. You can see over here, we do have these Christmas cactus, $7.98. That is another type of plant I do want to add to my collection eventually. But, I've talked about downsizing plants, getting plants that are a little bit more curated, having specific plants that you want to add to your collection so you don't overwhelm yourself. And, as far as like the Christmas cactus, it is more of a want for me. It's something that I can hold off until I have all of my space actually organized and ready to go versus a need where you have to buy the plant right then and there. I already got my poinsettia for the season. It is a variegated poinsettia, which I actually bought at Lowe's for $9.98. And, with poinsettias, they like to have their soil a little bit more moist. So you don't really want to let them dry out completely. It's one of those plants that is really grown for just the Christmas holiday season. So they're really popular for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then after, Christmas Day, they become, composted. That's really the sad reality with a lot of these seasonal plants. I don't really see a lot of people growing poinsettias long term after the holiday season. Leave it in the comments though if you do grow them as a house plant. I'm hoping that I could grow mine as a house plant even after the holiday season, and I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research when it comes to like getting the colors back in time for the holiday season. You can see right here, cosmic cactus. So these are cactus that are actually painted with these cosmic colors. I'm not really a fan of them, but as you can see here, they're not really that popular either. They are for any occasion. Maybe that might be your cup of tea, but for me, I like more naturally looking plants that haven't been dyed, plants that haven't been painted on. I do prefer plants that are just more natural looking, and I do understand that certain nurseries or plant shops want to experiment with being creative, but I just feel like that is just something that it depends on your plant aesthetics. And speaking of plant aesthetics, I am curious, plant foldies, let me know in the comment section as well if you have a specific type of plant you grow. You already know I've been talking a lot about like aglaonemas. I love aglaonemas. I believe everybody should add aglaonemas to their plant collection. I just put in an order for several aglaonemas to be imported in Indonesia. But please leave in the comments what plants you prefer to grow in your homes, what that aesthetic looks like. Because I like to learn more about all of our viewers and subscribers. We've been doing plant shopping videos, or at least I have been daily, or at least try to do daily for the past year. And I've really gotten to know some of you guys, and I've seen more people jumping on the live premiere chat. So if you are watching this video live, please leave in the comment section that you are there in the chats. I would love to, chat with you guys, engage with you, and just get to know more about y'all. Now, as far as all of the plants that I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be showing you a combination of Live Trends plants, for instance, Urban Jungle, and obviously Costa Farm plants. I think those are the main providers for big box stores like Lowe's. And I just wish, though, that they had more big box Black Friday plant specials. You know, a lot of people look at Black Friday, for instance, as just really splurging on like buying a TV or buying, you know, electronics. But do you guys agree that they should have even more Black Friday specials in terms of plants? Leave that in the comments. I know that I wouldn't mind getting like a variegated Monstera albo for like 50% off or something of that nature. I really think that that would actually get more of the plant community out shopping. I tend to actually avoid Black Friday shopping in stores just because there's so many people running around, and I don't really catch myself wanting to be up at 6 in the morning in line for like a TV. Now, you know, if the roles were reversed and there was like some type of like rare or uncommon plant that was on sale for limited amounts, maybe I might be in line for that. But yes, it is all about just being at the right place at the right time. And that even goes to show as far as like Black Friday, where you could be at the right place at the right time and then you can find like a really good deal. I just wish that there were just more plants on sale during Black Friday. I thought I would find some more on sale, but you know, clearly these plants are still full price. I love them, but would love to see more on sale just because I feel like everybody is on some type of plant budget. You know, the holiday seasons, we end up splurging a little bit more, or we end up spending a little bit more money. I know I have. And, you know, as far as the plant purchases I've done in the last 2 months, I don't really regret them. I've actually really increased my plant collection, but these are plants that I enjoy. These are plants that have become more of the easy care plants, aka Aglaonemas, pothos plants, you know, the plants that people would consider as basic plants, but to me basic is great. I say that in every video. I mean, you can see right there we've got a bunch of sansevierias, for instance. We've got some air plants right over here in this little owl planter. I think that's a really cool looking owl planter. These are by Live Trends, and this is for $6.98. And as far as Live Trends design, these planters are very modern looking. I just love the look of them, and I just feel like Live Trends design, that's really more of my niche or more of my aesthetics. I like very minimalistic planters, and the reason being is I like planters that are very minimalistic because then it would just really highlight the plant versus having something really busy where it might take away from the actual plant's beauty. You know, some people might disagree. Some people will say that, you know, having a planter that has a little bit more character actually accentuates the plant. I suppose it does, but it really just depends on the plant. Now, as far as these holiday plants, you know, Live Trends plants always are very seasonally relevant. Their planters are always seasonally relevant. I also see like Urban Jungle plants, for instance, being a little bit more seasonally relevant as well. But you can see right here they've got a little house. This one is for $8.98 with a air plant. Now, as far as air plants, I don't have a single air plant in my plant collection. I would possibly dabble into growing air plants. They're very easy, or at least that's what I've been told. As far as like watering an air plant, all you have to do is just submerge it in water, pull it out, let it dry out completely, and that is it. Now, if you have plant care tips for air plants, please leave that in the comments. But as you can see right here, this is one of my favorite Syngoniums. This is a Syngonium Maria, and the Syngonium Maria has that dark foliage. I love dark foliage, but to keep that dark foliage, as I mentioned in a lot of my videos, you really want to give that plant a lot of bright indirect light. Now we're going to look at some of these Live Trend hanging ceramic baskets. I love this, and this is for $24.98. This is the green Marantha right over here, and even though the Maranthas, as compared to maybe a Calathea, is a little bit less finicky, it is still I wouldn't consider this a beginner plant. So if you are starting a houseplant collection, Maranthas look gorgeous. They've got great foliage, but I wouldn't recommend adding them into a plant collection, especially if you're a beginner, because they do require a little bit more humidity and more watering. And some people don't have the humidity levels in their home and maybe not have the time to actually water their plants on a consistent basis. Now, as far as a beginner plant or an easy care plant, Epipremnum aureum or jade pothos right here. This is for $24.98. Very easy to care for plant. It is a plant that I believe every plant collector should have. Same thing with the Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. This is only for $24.98, and look at how healthy the leaves look. Now with the Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, to really get a lot of that neon green coloration, you want to actually provide it with quite a bit of bright indirect light. It actually will push out more variegation, and that's what's interesting about plants. Certain plants are influenced by the amount of light you give it, whether their color is enhanced or their variegation is enhanced. While some plants, no matter how much light you give it, their color will also just be dictated by the initial genetics of the plant. For instance, this is a Marble Queen Pothos, $24.98. And with the Marble Queen Pothos, it does have that cream color on it. But the thing about Marble Queen Pothos is if you don't provide it enough bright indirect light, it tends to be more on the greener side, and it could eventually revert back to just being green. Synapsis Silver Ann, this one is for $24.98 by Live Trends design. This one is another plant that can tolerate lower light conditions. It is similar to a pothos plant, but I would say it is a little bit slower in growth as compared to a pothos plant. I still find it lovely. If you want more of a velvety silver texture, this is the plant you want to get. Sometimes it's also known as a silver pothos, even though they are not in the same plant genus. And then we have a Philodendron Hederaceum, just a green version. And, again, I want to refer back to this. Like, I wish Live Trends Design actually had like Black Friday specials. Black Friday 2024, I was really hoping to get some really good deals at a big box store. So for those that actually ran into any Black Friday specials for plants, please leave that in the comments. I'm just curious what kind of sales may happen, because Black Friday should be all about getting some insane sales. And the only kind of sales I've seen at Black Friday would be like TVs or electronics. I just wish there was really more about the plants. So if anybody owns a nursery, or if you are one of those major providers, I would hope that maybe next year we can get some more really huge Black Friday specials. I know that on Instagram, there were a couple of sellers that have sold at PlantCon 2024, for instance, or even Texas Aeroid. That's where I got a lot of my Black Friday specials, is actually buying from local growers or people that had small businesses as compared to the big box store. You would think a big box store would actually have big Black Friday special deals, and I would say yes for electronics, but not necessarily for like the plants. And I just want to see more plants be on sale, because I just want to buy more plants, if that makes any sense. I am really spending quite a bit of money. I did ask in my last plant shopping video how much money that you've spent on plants in the last month. Thank you to those that actually left a comment, so I don't feel like I'm the only one that has spent pretty much a fortune in the last 2 months. But we're all in this together. I think a lot of us watch these plant shopping videos because we want to look at plants. And as you notice, I'm just picking up plants, not necessarily telling you the price or the plant care tips, because I feel like I've talked about those in previous videos. But I also just like utilizing these plant shopping videos to literally talk to you for about an hour or more about some of the plant insights. I think it kind of sparks interest in terms of plant conversations. And that's the reason why I'm really excited to launch with my friends Janae Simone and Steven at I Live Plants, our plant podcast, the Cultivation Corner. We have been posting a lot of little short previews on our Instagram account called the Cultivation Corner. And, I hope that you guys will follow this as well. Now, this is an interesting find. This is an urban jungle alocasia, but this is an Alocasia Jacqueline, and this is only for $13.98. Now, Alocasia Jacqueline isn't necessarily a plant I would necessarily recommend to anybody that's starting a houseplant collection, because it's one of the more challenging alocasias to grow. Alocasias in general are already challenging, but to see it as an urban jungle alocasia for only $13.98, really like that, considering Costa Farms has them as a trending tropical plant for $19.98. So If you want a smaller Alocasia Jacqueline, you can just buy the Urban Jungle one for that price. And they also have a lot of these planters right here for $13.98. That is a Calathea lancifolia. And then we've got a Peperomia obtusifolia. This one is the variegated form. Really like this. And I do think that Peperomias, especially the Peperomia obtusifolia varieties, tend to be a little bit overlooked, even though they are very durable plants. Like, they can tolerate being underwatered. And for those that don't know the term underwater, that means you're not necessarily watering the plant as consistent as you should, but it's still forgiving. Philodendron Moonlight, love this plant because it's got that neon colored leaves. Now with this particular philodendron, it does grow pretty large. So that's a plus for anybody that really wants a statement piece plant. And this is only for $13.98. To keep that neon variegation, you've really got to stay on top of the lighting conditions. It prefers a lot of bright indirect light. And then this is the classic Monstera deliciosa, but this is the juvenile form. This again is only for $13.98. I love Monstera deliciosas. I think they're super easy to take care of. They're the types of plants that you don't necessarily have to worry about growing. Like, there's not a lot of plant care tips for Monstera deliciosa. I would just say give them fast draining soil. Make sure you give them a moss pole, a totem pole, a plank, or some type of support because they need to grow up. And then you also need to make sure you are providing them with more bright indirect light. They can tolerate lower light conditions, but Monsteras in general are a little bit more vigorous when you give them more light. Now, this is a beautiful Sansevieria bird's nest, for instance, by Urban Jungle. Again, $13.98. And I'm going to pan over here and look at some of these bromeliads. You know, bromeliads in these little combination containers are really interesting. Love that as well. And then that is another plant that, you know, a lot of people overlook. And then as I pan away here, I'm just going to keep showing you the combination of Urban Jungle hanging basket plants as well as live trend plants, and then eventually start showing you guys Costa Farms plants. Please leave in the comments if you find any of these plants interesting or what your thoughts are, as well as hit the like button. I know that if you made it this far to the video, thank you so much for watching this far. But also, if you can, please hit the like button for this video. It definitely helps push this video out to more plant lovers like yourself. My goal is for December to really make it to 12,000 subscribers. You know, you guys have really helped me grow this channel, and I'm hoping by just a simple act of hitting the like button, it will push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. But for now, I'm just going to keep walking around, picking up some plants. Feel free to leave in the comments, give timestamps about what plants you like. Again, this is the day before Thanksgiving, heading into Black Friday 2024. So this is just a couple of days past from when I filmed it. Like I said, again, I've been super busy with work, but I am still trying my very best to give you guys brand new, consistent plant YouTube videos. And hopefully you guys are appreciating my efforts. as much as I love looking at the plants, I also love looking at the planters at Lowe's. You know, these planters, they've got a really nice color story. So you've got the more cool colors and then the warmer colors right over here. They've got different types of patterns. I'll show you a couple of planters I would be into. Like this one right here is more of a concrete gray type planter, and then I also like this one right here, this little neutral blue. Even though it has a little bit of a pattern, it's not too overwhelming. And then we have this right here. I love neutral colors like grays. And then this one right here for $15.98. I was actually thinking about buying it for one of my crawling philodendron, my philodendron gloriosum, since it needs more of a shallow, wider pot. That would be something I was thinking about getting to repot my philodendron gloriosum. And then you can see right here, I have yet to buy this planter. I should have bought it when it was on clearance. This one is a ginkgo biloba tree leaf planter. Love the shape of that. If you ask me my favorite types of trees, I love Japanese maples, but I also love ginkgo trees. Ginkgo trees are beautiful, especially in the fall when they actually turn yellow, and it just is a stunning plant. It's one of those plants though that not a lot of people also talk about, you know, the ginkgo tree. Let me know in the comments if you actually like Japanese maples or collect ginkgo trees. They are a more uncommon landscape plant, but I do feel like it's a very durable plant. Now, as far as the planters here, so you can see that they've got some very minimalistic planters, a little bit of texture, a little bit of color, but needless to say, love it a lot. And again, I want to ask all of our plant foldies watching this video, please leave in the comments what types of planters you prefer. Do you have a preference of color? Do you have a preference of texture? And then also, how do you display your plants? Do you display them on like plant stands? Do you have floating shelves on your walls? Do you have cabinets? What does that look like? I would really like to know, because, you know, me and my friend Janae Simone, she is an expert when it comes to plant styling. We were just talking about how certain planters or even the things that you use to display your plant really varies from person to person. And I've asked a lot of just insights as far as this plant shopping video is concerned. I think it's because I do think about all of our plant foldies. You know, I look for you guys whenever we are on the live premiere chat. There is a sense of community for sure on our Grow Folds channel. And I just like knowing more about your preferences for your plants. So please leave that in the comments. But as you can see here, this Lowe's has, you know, some, I wouldn't say this is a really packed Lowe's today. I think that they could have more plants, but as far as their selection, it's still okay. I mean, you can see here, we do have a bunch of these dendrobium orchids. Love dendrobium orchids as well. It is a different type of orchid as compared to like the Phalaenopsis orchid, but needless to say, $39.98, that is not a bad one at all. It is growing in a sphagnum moss substrate. Now with orchids, they are called epiphytes. So these are plants that like to attach themselves on tree bark. They don't necessarily grow their roots into soil. So as far as a substrate, you never really want to plant an orchid in potting soil mix. They don't really want to keep their roots wet either, because that's the fastest way to actually root rot a Phalaenopsis orchid or just orchids in general. If you're able to provide higher humidity, they're going to be happy. Now, like as far as Costa Farms, they do produce a lot of Phalaenopsis orchids. Phalaenopsis orchids are common, they are easy to find, and you know, they're not that hard to take care of. Now, as far as their bloom cycle, they typically bloom for about a month, maybe a little bit longer. And I do like the fact that Better Grow is a provider of more exotic orchids. So I'm just gonna pull this out here. You can see that they have these small orchids here. So if you're into orchids and you want to find a place to buy them, Lowe's is one of the big box stores that really provides lots of orchids. They even have the orchid supplies as far as like the orchid bark, which I use to mix into some of my my soil substrates whenever I actually want it to be more of a chunky soil mix. I have been really into growing a lot of my plants and transferring them into semi-hydroponic substrates like Lechuzapon or Leca, and I am still sad that they don't have Lechuzapon available for Amazon Prime members like myself. I really need more of that, because Lechuzapon or semi-hydroponic plants, they're just easier to take care of. I don't have to water them nearly as much. I could just put you know, water you know, plant nutrients in in the water reservoir, and I don't have to really worry about them being watered as consistently. Now, one plant I do love is this Dracaena White Jewel. This is by Urban Jungle again. And then this is another plant that can grow fairly large, but it's so underrated. And I think that's a reason why I do a lot of these big box store plant shopping videos, because number one, you will see a lot of the plants that you would commonly see at a big box store. And then number two, just getting that awareness about what plants you want to add to your plant collection based on the care needs. Like that Ficus elastica Tiniki, that's actually intermediate type plant to grow. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a beginner plant, but it's not a hard plant either. What makes it a little bit challenging is just the lighting conditions. You have to provide it with more light. Now that's a beautiful Syndapsis Silver Ann right here, a Live Trends hanging basket. And then as I pan up here, you can see we've got lots of Phalaenopsis orchids. As far as big box stores are concerned, again, during the holiday season, a lot of big box stores don't always get restocks, and that's why it's exciting to find restocks at a big box store like Lowe's, for instance, because you know the weather is a little bit colder, so transferring some of these plants like this beautiful staghorn fern might be a little bit challenging. You know, some nurseries are a little bit weary in terms of like shipping during the holidays. I'm actually taking a bit of a risk by importing plants from Indonesia, because I'm hoping that, you know, when they do get to the United States, that they wouldn't get stuck in transit somewhere where there's really extreme cold weather. As far as my experiences importing plants, I haven't had any negative experiences. All of my plants have always come in healthy. Some people say that it's super risky to import plants, but to me, it's actually gotten me some of the more uncommon plants that I wouldn't find, especially when it comes to Aglaonema, which we will be discussing later on to this video. You know, if there was a plant that I would love to see as a big sale during Black Friday 2024, it would definitely be Aglaonemas. I just wish like Costa Farms would make them like 50% off. I would buy multiples. You know, that's the thing about plants. Certain plants I don't mind having multiples of. Some people will say, you know, try to limit yourself from having multiple plants simply because of the space constraints. But to me, I could always have like an Aglaonema red Siam. As common as it is so easy to take care of. I don't mind having multiples of, as well as like the pothos plants, any type of pothos, marble queen pothos, golden pothos, definitely neon pothos. Those are plants that I could have multiples of, and I'm actually propagating a lot of my pothos plants. I've really taken a lot of cuttings. A lot of my cuttings I took about 2 weeks ago ended up rooting, and so I'm debating on whether I should put them in Lechuza Pond. Probably not Lechuza Pond, but maybe Leca, to see if I would have even better growth for them. Leave in the comments if you've actually propagated pothos and have actually grown them in Leca. I'd like to know that as well. And I'd like to know if a lot of our plant foldies are actually growing plants in semi-hydro substrates like Lechuza Pond or Leca. Now over here, I am picking up some African violets, $5.48. Now African violets, a lot of people will say that's like the grandmother plant. For me, African violets are actually interesting because they do have a lot of different types of blooms and even the velvety texture of the leaves. I would say African violets, though, you do not want to get the leaves wet. That's one way to rot them. And then as far as African violets, you want to keep them more on the moist side. Now, bromeliads, that's the same thing. You want to keep them more on the moist side, but what I like about bromeliads is if you run into the ones with the pinks and the really colorful patterns, I just find them interesting, like this one right over here. This is one I wouldn't mind adding to my plant collection, because who doesn't like pink plants? Who doesn't like pink plants that look like this? As far as bromeliads, I don't have any more in my plant collection. There was one bromeliad I had that I found for a really good sale price, but it ended up dying, or at least going to plant heaven, because I didn't water it for like a month and a half. And you know, that's me being very transparent. There are certain plants that if you know needs to be watered, I would say place it in an area that is a little bit more accessible, whether it's on your kitchen window or near your bathroom. I mean, that could be said about like calatheas, for instance. Like I have one more calathea, and it's the Calathea dotty. I just recently actually trimmed a lot of the brown crispy leaves there. I told myself I would probably water my Calathea dotty every other day, because it's going to really prefer that more moist soil. So as far as you know, plants that need more water, for instance, this one right here is a Snow White waffle plant. I love it. but it's such a diva. It is a plant diva. That one is for $5.98. And then we have a Belgian waffle plant here. This one doesn't have the pinks. This has more of the caramel tan overtones or undertones on the leaves. $5.98 at Costa Farms Exotic Angel. And you can see waffle plants. Love the texture. It's really crinkly, but these plants need a lot of water and they need a lot of humidity. So there's just a lot going on with those plants. And the same thing with this Fittonia right here. This is a Fittonia Red Ann by Costa Farms. $5.98, and unfortunately it is one of those plants that is very finicky in terms of the watering. These are plants that you would probably need to either put in a greenhouse or some type of terrarium setting, because as far as like the humidity, if they don't have that humid environment, a lot of their leaves end up getting a little bit crispy. Like I would love to be able to grow a Fittonia plant, but this Fittonia plant right there, I already know if I put it in my home, it's going to end up becoming crispy brown because I just will not water it as often. Now this is one plant I was really tempted to buy during my plant shopping excursion during Black Friday 2024. This is for $16.98. This is an Epipremnum aureum Pearls and Jade, or a Pearls and Jade pothos. Love this as well, and I do prefer the 6-inch hanging baskets by Costa Farms. I've said this in all my videos whenever I feature hanging baskets by Costa Farms. It just tends to be less surface space. You know, the 8-inch ones are nice, but these ones are a little bit more manageable. Now, as far as the Pearls and Jade pothos, surprisingly, I don't actually own a Pearls and Jade pothos, so that's something I want to add. You know, as far as pothos plants, I do have the common ones. I've gotten some uncommon ones and rare ones. I was able to acquire a couple of Japanese pothos, for instance, the Taruna World Series. I want more of those Japanese pothos. Let me know in the comments if you actually have some Japanese pothos. They are exquisite, and I love the very small nuances in detail of some of those pothos plants. This one though, that's the OG original pothos. That was the jade pothos, and then we have a golden pothos right here. Now these are the 8-inch baskets by Costa Farms for, actually no, these are the 6-inch ones for $16.98. I think that's a fair price. Like I said again though, I wish Costa Farms would have like a massive Black Friday special deal where all of their plants end up being like 50 to 60% off. That would be amazing. And I feel like Costa Farms could do something like that because they have so many plants available to purchase. And I appreciate Costa Farms. You know, there are some people who have their opinions about Costa Farms or one of the, you know, the bigger nurseries. Some people say that those bigger nurseries take away from small businesses or local businesses. To me, it really just depends on the areas that you live in. Not everybody can buy plants at a small business or a local nursery. And this time of the year, or even just in general, I believe that plants have become equalized to where the plant pricing is very much similar, whether it's a big box store or a local nursery. Maybe some local nurseries might sell their plants a little bit more pricey, but then again, you're also getting a higher quality plant in a sense that the local nursery is going to spend more time taking care of the plants versus the big box store. Now, if you're going to ask me whether big box stores just neglect their plants, no, because I've seen this particular Lowe's, for instance, water their plants, they get rid of their plants that are not that healthy, and there's a certain level of care, but it really just varies from, you know, big box store to local nurseries. Plant pricing is also varies. What doesn't vary for me though is how gorgeous this Philodendron Hederaceum Neon is. Love it. I ended up buying an 8-inch planter because that is another plant that I don't mind having multiples of, and that is just another plant that I could add many of them in my collection. Same thing with the Neon Pothos. This one is also for $16.98. Really love the look of this plant. That is another plant that, you know, I feel like is a classic houseplant. This Neon Pothos, like, look at how gorgeous the leaves are. And while people will say this is a basic plant, I will reiterate the fact that at least on this plant channel, basic is amazing. Basic is great. Basic is what everybody needs. Take it back to the basics, because basics will find you the solution you need for your plants. Now, as far as philodendrons, Philodendron tortum. This one is for $19.98. Love the look of a philodendron tortum. I actually ended up getting one of these because these are the larger size ones by Costa Farms, and they were only for $19.84. I'm going to pull a couple more out and just show you. Let me know in the comments what you think about the philodendron tortum. That's one plant that is very funky. Look at the texture of the leaves, and I'm just glad that it's readily available now at a big box store. And you can see I'm pulling up all of these interesting, easy to care for plants. This is a philodendron heteroraceum green form. And as I pan away, you can see that there is the neon form as well. I would like to add both to my plant collection because they're easy. You can see this is a lipstick plant. And then we have a Dracaena fragrans right here. Now this is for $12.98. And with the Dracaena fragrans, I know not everybody's running to get this plant, but this plant can grow fairly large. It is low light tolerant, drought tolerant, very much not as susceptible to pests either. So that's a plant that I would recommend you growing in your plant collection. And then you can see over here, ZZ plant. This one is from Costa Farms. I believe this is for $30.98. Now, ZZ plant is probably one of the easiest plants you could ever grow because they don't really need to be watered. Like you can literally not water them for a month or two and they will still do fine. Clearly, if you're watering them more on a consistent basis, like waiting for the soil to dry out completely and watering them, they will grow a little bit more of a vigorous pace, but it is a very forgiving plant. And for me, I need forgiving, easy care plants just like this. So I'm going to spend some time because this is my favorite plants to feature. $15.98. This is an Aglaonema red Siam. You already know if you are going to watch a Grow Folds plant foldy video, you will see Aglaonemas. And I have to ask anybody that has watched my videos, have you bought an Aglaonema? Have you bought an Aglaonema? If you haven't bought an Aglaonema, why have you not bought an Aglaonema? This is only for $15.98. Super easy to care for plant. And when I say Aglaonemas come in so many different varieties, I just wish the United States would get the varieties of Aglaonema that I could see from Indonesia or Thailand or a Southeast Asian country, because you can see that even Costa Farms, they've made it somewhat accessible to get more of these colorful Aglaonema. I mean, take a look at this one right here. Super gorgeous one. This is one that I ended up buying. This was for $19.98. This is a trending tropicals plant, but you can see we've got different varieties of color on the same one. This is the golden fluorite Aglaonema, and you know, with the Costa Farms one, there's typically 2 to 3 plants on their Aglaonema, so you'll get a lot for your money as well. And you know what I like about Aglaonemas is that they actually grow pups. As far as like the care conditions for Aglaonemas, I would say still provide them with more bright indirect light, especially for the more colorful ones like this, and also water when the soil is completely dry. Aglaonema do not like to be overwatered. So for those that are not overwaterers, this is the perfect plant for you. Now, if you are an overwaterer, you've really got to control yourself from watering the Aglaonemas more often because they are susceptible to root rot. They're very much so drought tolerant. And then you can see over here, $15.98 again by Costa Farms. This is a Calathea Green Goddess. Love it as well, but unfortunately, as beautiful as Calatheas are, I can't grow them. But they do have a new crop of Calatheas that they have released out at big box stores. That's typically what you would see from, say, Costa Farms. Once you see one plant get released at, say, a Lowe's, you can almost bet that that particular plant species is going to be seen at multiple Lowe's locations or multiple big box stores. I'm always happy to see new releases. I mean, this one right here, we have a chameleon ZZ plant. Love this. I ended up buying one of these because I do love ZZ plants. The ZZ plants I currently own would be the green version, the Raven ZZ, and the chameleon ZZ. I am looking for the variegated ZZ plant that's really expensive, as well as the ZZ Zen Z plant, the more compact ZZ plant. The thing about this Costa Farms trending tropical plant, this chameleon ZZ for $19.98, is you see how it's got that really light yellow new growth. In order to really maintain that, you've really got to provide it with more bright light. What happens is if you don't provide this ZZ plant light, bright indirect light, it will revert back to more of a green tone. So that's the thing about ZZ plants. Even though they are drought tolerant and low light tolerant for the more colorful ones, you definitely want to make sure that you're providing it with more light. Otherwise, it's going to end up reverting on you. But for $19.98, that's not bad. I just, like I said again, you know, for somebody that is going out and filming the day before Thanksgiving, hoping to see some Black Friday specials, Black Friday 2024, I haven't really seen anything that would wow me at, say, Lowe's right now. Like I said again, the only thing that wows me is the fact that this Lowe's has some really good merchandising, and they've got some really good selection of plants. Like this right here, $15.98, Aglaonema Maria. That is another classic plant. That is an easy to care for plant. And even though it's just got the green color on it, don't sleep on this plant. This plant is amazing in a sense that it's just so easy to take care of. And when you think about the plant pricing as well, $15.98 is not a bad price or an asking price for this plant. Let me know in the comments if you've actually bought Aglaonema from Lowe's, like Costa Farms Aglaonemas. I am a huge fan. Every single Aglaonema I picked up today to show you on this video, I probably own multiples of, and I am super happy about it because none of them give me trouble. They're super easy, and I'm hoping that at some point in the spring or summer, when they push out more pups, I'll be able to share that with the plant foldy community. You can see right over here, we do have a Norfolk pine. It's really a tropical type plant, although it is kind of masked as like a Christmas tree plant, a plant that you would think would be out in the snow, but that actually comes from the Norfolk Island. And then you can see over here, we do have these Alocasia jacquelines for $19.98. I mean, it's got a beautiful leaf. It's very interesting. It's just so challenging to grow. I've even tried to grow this in Lechuza Pond, and it just hasn't worked out for me. Osmocote Plus, that is a fertilizer, a slow release fertilizer I would recommend. This one is for $15.97. I would recommend that pretty much as an all-purpose fertilizer for any plant. It does slow release, so it's not going to burn the plant, and that plant is going to be consistently given nutrients. And that's the thing. If you ever want to like see your plant thrive, I mean, I would say over fertilization is really not a good thing for your plant. It'll end up burning it. But even having very small trace amounts of fertilizer in every watering will actually help your plant grow at a larger size, or just be more healthy. Like this right here, this is another Alocasia jacqueline. Like, I would love it if I could actually grow it, but that's a plant that, as tempting as it is, I'm just never going to add to my plant collection just because I don't have the specific space or the conditions to be able to grow this long-term sustainably. But as far as the Aglaonema and also the ZZ plant right here, these are plants that I know I could grow for a long time, and they're just easy care plants. You have to go for the easy care plants, plant foldies. Anybody watching my channel, as much as we might want to collect more of the variegated forms of plants, easy care is the way to go. Like this right here, I love this Aglaonema. I don't know the specific Aglaonema name or plant ID for this, so if you do know, please leave that in the comments. But I love the white stems on this Aglaonema. There are two really nice plants here for $15.98. And this is just an Aglaonema. I feel like, Costa Farms has really produced. It's a beautiful metallic looking plant. It's a plant that can tolerate lower light conditions. So even though you put it in a lower light condition, it's still going to give you some beautiful colors. And, that's the thing I will have with Costa Farms. I just wish Costa Farms would continue to push out more aglaonemas. I'm always on the hunt for aglaonemas, so even seeing all of these, like this one right here is the OG most common aglaonema, but needless to say, it's still beautiful. $15.98. This is the aglaonema Silver Bay. Definitely like this, and it does get really large as well. The only drawback about aglaonemas is that they're not fast growers, so it takes a little bit of time for them to really get the size. But as far as being an aglaonema collector, I will say that I am an aglaonema collector. I don't mind the wait. Aglaonema Mystic Silver. So I am going to buy an Aglaonema Mystic Silver, even though I already have one. And the reason why I like it is look at the white stems. But if you look at that green and that minty green variegation on it, it's such a beautiful plant. And it has little, traces of yellow. You can see that this Aglaonema does have some blooms emerging. What you want to do with the blooms of an Aglaonema is to actually cut it off, because it's really going to stunt the Aglaonema's growth if you let the blooms just bloom, because it takes so much energy for the plant to produce a bloom versus that energy being focused onto growing leaves. But as far as these two Aglaonemas Mystic Silver, let me know which one you would buy, which one you would pick, this one or the one I picked up. This one actually doesn't have the white stems on it. The other one does. And so it's just interesting, like how there's even those mutations, or just how the plant grows. I don't know if it's necessarily based on the lighting conditions that this Aglaonema is provided, but what I will say is Costa Farms is doing an awesome job just making more of these Aglaonemas available. I hope by next year they'll even have more varieties of Aglaonemas coming. I did notice that there's some more Aglaonemas that are making it into the market. I think Kroger, which I will go plant hunting for, has the Tropic Treasures series, and they just recently released the Red Vein Aglaonema. So that's something that I hope to acquire in the next 2 weeks. You know, it's interesting how I give myself a timeline on what plant I want to try to acquire, but that would be definitely a plant I would want to get. And as you can see right here, I'm just showing you all of these silver green Aglaonema that they have. And that's the thing, if you go to Lowe's, you could just say, I'm going to go ahead and go big box store plant shopping, go Black Friday shopping, and just buy these plants, even though they're going to be at full price. At least you will have an Aglaonema collection. And I say this to everybody watching. Go ahead and buy yourself an Aglaonema, or even get yourself a ZZ Chameleon plant. Just get a plant that is easy to care for. Once you get that plant to thrive in your care, maybe start adding, more advanced plants. Or if you want to invest in a more rare or variegated plant, you can do so, but at least stick to the basics and try growing the easy care plants and the plants that are more cost effective. I would say Costa Farms plants, they tend to be cost effective. If you find them on a sale, or if you find them on clearance at Lowe's, you'll save even more money. But as far as Aglaonemas, typically if you find Aglaonemas within the range of like $10 being really inexpensive to as high as like 30, then that's a pretty good range for the more common varieties of Aglaonemas. So that's to give you a basis of what those plants are. But that's a golden floret, for instance, and then we have more of these plants. I'm just going to keep walking around and showing you and panning you more of these plants by Costa Farms. And you can see there are so many beautiful Costa Farms plants today, this evening. I am going to definitely buy one Aglaonema. That's going to be the Aglaonema Mystic Silver, even though I've got doubles of it. But as I said before, sometimes you just end up buying plants that just bring you joy, and that definitely brings me joy. I did want to show you some more of the Aglaonema. So this is the Aglaonema Maria. We've got the Aglaonema Red Siam over here. Look at how gorgeous that red border is. We got the Aglaonema. I don't know the plant ID 100%, so please leave that in the comments. We've got an Aglaonema Silver Bay, and then we've got the Aglaonema Mystic Silver that I'm going to buy today, and then we have the Aglaonema Golden Floret. So hopefully everybody has enjoyed this video today. Please hit the like button. Let me know what Black Friday specials you got this year, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel at GrowFolds. I'll have a brand new video for you tomorrow. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at GrowFolds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's off of Warren Road in Frisco, Texas. As always, please make sure you hit the like button for this video. It definitely helps this video out, as well as follow me on Instagram at Growfold if you want daily plant posts, as well as to get in touch with me directly. Anyways, this is the Lowe's off of Preston Road in Frisco, Texas. It's between Warren Road. So for those that are in the DFW area, this is one of my favorite Lowe's to go plant shopping, especially if you're looking for some nice plant finds. If you are on a plant budget, financially, we want to try to save some money on plants. And usually big box stores is a solution if you're wanting to save money, especially when you are going plant shopping. Black Friday, they still have some Black Friday doorbusters. You can see this is for two for $12. You can get some of these reefs. But as far as Black Friday shopping, as far as that is concerned, a lot of big box stores will have it mostly for their appliances, but not more so for the actual plant. So that's the only thing I wish they would have for Black Friday 2024. Now, as far as Cyber Monday deals, so let's talk about Cyber Monday deals. It looks like a lot of the local nurseries or nurseries that sell online will actually sell a lot of their house plants for the Cyber Monday special. So I actually went plant shopping and got a really good deal on certain plant products and even plants. I ended up buying myself some Aglaonema for 50% off. But as you can see right over here, we do have a bunch of poinsettias. This one actually looks like legitimate flowers. Now, again, for poinsettias, they are holiday plants that usually come out around November and definitely December. And these plants have these colorful margins on the leaves. So those are actually not the blooms. Most people will actually confuse those or actually mistaking it as the actual blooms. The blooms are the yellow little buds or the little tiny flowers that it has. But you can see this is Black Friday specials. This one is for two for $12. And actually that's a really good deal. So you're getting a pretty good size plant for $6. Now these are originally $9.98. I already ended up buying myself a poinsettia with the splashy variegation on it, and it's doing very well. Here's the thing though about poinsettias, you do need to give them bright light, and as far as watering, you need to stay on top of the watering for them to really thrive and survive, at least for the holiday season. Now these ones are 3 for, I believe, $12, so you're getting them for $3 actually $3 for a piece. So I think that they're actually is it 4 for $12 or 2 for $3? Either way, actually it's 2 for $3. Sorry, I am confused with a lot of the Black Friday plant pricing, but as you can see right over here, that is a really good deal. I would recommend buying poinsettias during Black Friday or even Cyber Monday if they actually have Cyber Monday sales. So today I am going to just be out and about. It is Monday, the day of Cyber Monday, just to see if there's actual plant prices that will actually go down, or if this is just going to be some, plants that you can find at big box stores. But either way, I enjoy doing daily plant shopping videos. I like to go share my thoughts on plant insights, as well as just giving you my plant commentary on the typical house plants you will find. But, whenever you go to a big box store, you may end up finding some rare or uncommon plants. This particular Lowe's, though, is a really good place to go plant shopping because this Lowe's actually keeps their plants super healthy. They keep them full, they keep them merchandised, and for some reason, this particular Lowe's ends up getting a lot of the new plant releases by Costa Farms, Urban Jungle Plants, or Live Trend Plants. You can see that they've got a surplus of plants to the point where they have to actually have extra racks. So we're gonna go into a little bit more detail on some of the indoor and tropical plants a little bit later. I do want to go outside though and just take a look at some of the holiday plants that they have, the outdoor plants, and take a look at this right here. This is another product that is on sale for Black Friday or Cyber Monday special. You can see right here, these are the style selections for a window bird feeder. So this is usually $17.98. Now you can get it for $9.98. And look at all of this greenery plant folies. Like I said before, this particular Lowe's tends to keep their plants super full, super healthy, and there's quite a bit of selection. So it's always tempting to spend all of your money at this particular Lowe's. So again, weekend. If you are out in the DFW market, you know, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel with all the notification bell on, especially if you want to save money, because I will get you all of the plant pricing, or the current plant pricing for the Dallas-Fort Worth market. But anyways, we are outside here and we're taking a look at some of the plants that they have here. You can see that it is the first week of November. So as far as shopping, everybody is out shopping. I'll tell you, you go to any big box store, you will see swarms of people shopping. I know this past weekend was Black Friday. Last week was Thanksgiving. So we had a lot of people out and about, definitely visiting family, but also shopping for their Christmas shopping. So I actually wanted to ask everybody that celebrates Christmas or the holidays, do you do your plant shopping early in the season for Christmas shopping? Do you do your Christmas shopping early? For me, I actually do a lot of my Christmas shopping around June and July, just because a lot of stores actually liquidate and clearance out a lot of their toys and their plants. So that's just a little trick I've learned over the years, that some big box stores will actually do that. So I will just save all of my money and buy the plants, but not actually buy the plants, buy the toys, I'm sorry, and get them on clearance around the months of June and July. It's not always the case, but I've seen that type of trend at big box stores. So I tend to try to save my money as far as Christmas shopping. Now, as far as Christmas shopping later in the season, like December, you're not going to find me looking for plants to go gift people. I try to avoid crowds, and that's the reason why lately I've been trying to do my plant shopping videos either at night or early in the morning. I think morning actually gives me the best lighting. Unfortunately, whenever I go plant shopping at night, I don't always get the best lighting for my videos, so you'll have to excuse me on that. But I tend to avoid crowds at big box stores. And it makes it easier for me to actually do plant shopping videos, because then I don't have to like avoid people getting into the frame. You know, I try to respect people's privacy in terms of whenever I am doing my big box store plant shopping videos. I try not to get employees or people in the background. I really just like focusing on the plants. And for those that continue to ask me why I am faceless on YouTube, you know, there's a lot of faceless YouTubes. There's a lot of how-to tutorials. There's a lot of people that do cooking videos, you know, cosmetics, fashion. They kind of just end up being faceless. And so for me, I like to be faceless on YouTube because I want to really focus on the plant. I want you to really focus on the commentary. And to be honest, sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder. It makes you really, I suppose, engaged in the content. And I really hope that you guys will continue to watch my plant shopping videos all the way through. You know, what's exciting about doing these plant shopping videos is while I may be faceless on this channel, I do utilize this as almost like a personal lifestyle blog. There's a lot that I share on this video, even though it's just a lot about the plants, but I will give you my insights on what's going on. You know, things have been a little bit challenging for me this holiday season. I've been working a little bit too hard, I believe, but you know, the one thing that keeps me excited, keeps me happy, brings me joy is to be able to get off of work, even though it is, you know, past 10 hours of work, to do plant shopping videos. You know, being able to pick up these succulents, for instance, and showing you guys this, and then being able to talk to you directly via my plant shopping videos is exciting. And you can see here, this is actually one of my favorite type of succulents. These are echeverias. Like, look at that subtle pink edging on this particular one. I really like that a lot. And honestly, I have two succulents that I bought from another big box store called Home Depot, and it's been doing very well for me. You know, I ended up buying those succulents on sale. And that's the thing about going to these big box stores is you will sometimes luck out and find them on sale. You know, as far as Lowe's, if you want to really snag a good deal, Lowe's will typically clearance out their plants for 50% off. But depending on the plant health, I would definitely look at the plant first and think whether it is actually worth buying a clearance plant. Because I've talked about this before in some of my plant shopping videos, is if you're going to buy a plant that's really trying to get liquid liquidated or is on clearance, typically the plant's health is not the best, which means it's either got some potential pests or it's going to have to be rehabbed substantially. And so it's going to be a process. So the sometimes 50% off may not necessarily be the worth it, but you know what is worth it is rescuing a plant from a big box store. So I totally get it. So for the plant foldies, and for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome, my name is Richie. Let me know in the comment section if you have rescued a plant on clearance at a big box store like Lowe's, or what your thoughts are on clearance plants. Leave that in the comments. And if you made it this far into the video, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video. I would definitely appreciate it. It definitely helps with pushing this plant, content out to more plant lovers like yourself. Like I said before, I am hoping that we'll get to 12,000 subscribers by the end of December, and we only have so much time left. As far as the holiday season, as far as Christmas, the countdown is real. We are only 22 days away from Christmas Eve, and that's not a lot of time. That's, about 2.5 weeks. And so I do ask that you guys will hit the like button at the very least. I know I have some very avid plant foldies on the live premiere chats. I really appreciate it. Kathy from Canada, thank you so much for always asking people to hit the like button. Luke, thank you for actually asking people to hit the like button for this video. Isaac, or he is also known as Hi JR Sings, that is my best friend. He also asked people to hit the like button for this video. So again, if you are a supporter of my YouTube channel and you get a chance, definitely hit the like button. But anyways, let me get off of my promotional blurb for this video. Let's talk about the plants. As you can see, there are many live Christmas trees. So I'm curious if you've already bought yourself a live Christmas tree. And it looks like they've replaced a lot of the plants that they had on pallets with bigger planters. So as far as these planters are concerned, you can see that they have many different varieties, different textures, different shapes, different heights, different colors. I really like that yellow one, for instance. That's a really nice color. It reminds me of Costa Farms, actually. Costa Farms has that really bold yellow, golden yellow color on a lot of their labeling. I actually like the new branding that they have for Costa Farms, even the yellow heart. I think that's really nice. And as far as Costa Farms plants, I have asked my family if they wanted to send me, gifts for the holidays, to either give me Lowe's or Home Depot gift cards, big box store gift cards, because that will actually fund some of my plant shopping addiction. When it comes down to it, the thing about doing plant shopping is, yes, I get to go walk around and look at these plants. But whenever you're walking around and doing, these plant videos, you can't always do window shopping. So like right now, as I do this Cyber Monday plant shopping special, it's not that I necessarily have an intention to buy plants. Some of the tips I mentioned for people whenever you want to save money on plants is, number one, definitely have an idea of what plant you want to buy at a big box store. Number two, set yourself a budget if you are going to go plant shopping. And then number three, definitely know when that cutoff is. That's how you prevent yourself from doing impulse buys. Now, if I followed my own plant shopping tips on how to save money whenever you're going plant shopping, I wouldn't have spent quite a bit of money. But, alas, as far as following one's advice, that's what makes it the most challenging. Now, for those that have actually followed my plant shopping money saving tips, leave in the comments if it's actually worked out for you, because right now it hasn't necessarily worked out for me. I just loved all of these plants. Now, look at this right here. This is a Rodeo oyster plant, and I love the Rodeo oyster plant. This one is for $4.98. I like that it's got a nice pink coloration on it. You can see that there's various different types of Rodeo oysters. I like the purple undersides of the leaves as well. And again, this is only for $4.98. This plant is actually pretty versatile because you can actually grow it as an outdoor patio plant. It will get larger outdoors, or you could grow it as an indoor plant as well. Now, it won't grow nearly as quickly, but if you like pink plants like myself, you can grow this either as an outdoor plant or an indoor plant. I've seen people do both, and it's one of the plants that you're not necessarily privy to see as a plant that's marketed as an indoor plant. This is more of an outdoor type plant. You can see though it has some really established roots on that, and that's the thing about plant shopping. Whenever you see roots coming out of the drainage holes, you can see that that is a plant that's fairly established, like this one right here. This is a Tradescanthia Sana. Love this as well, and this one actually tends to grow a little bit more compact. I intended to buy this particular Tradescanthia. I haven't had a chance to do so. I may not add this plant actually into my plant collection until maybe next year. You can see right over here, though, they also have some hanging baskets of spider plants. This one is for $19.98. Now, as far as hanging baskets, I recently did a video on a local plant nursery called Plants and Planters out in Richardson, Texas. Definitely check that out if you want to see some of the best hanging baskets in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Definitely check out Plants and Planters. It is a plant nursery that I have shopped for many years, and they have some amazing plants as well. But as far as all of the plants at this Lowe's, this Lowe's never really disappoints me because they keep their plants in stock. They keep their plants healthy, and there's always a new release or some type of restock happening. So I don't mind driving to this one. This one is a little bit further out to where I'm based at. It's about 20 minutes, which honestly is not that far, because I have been, been told by some of our plant foldies that they don't even have Lowe's with this type of selection. So I feel very fortunate to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to be able to feature a lot of these big box stores. Now, as far as the Christmas trees, you can see right here, that is $27.98 for a smaller Christmas tree. I don't really grow, actually I say grow, but I actually don't have live Christmas trees in my home. I don't really put up a Christmas tree during the holiday season. I just don't have the time, honestly, to be putting up Christmas decorations. I'm not that big of a decorator when it comes to that. But anyways, going back inside now. So we're going to look at the main event, which is basically the plants, the indoor plants that this big box store offers. It is Cyber Monday, and I was able to see some local nurseries really put some big deals out as far as shipping. 50% off plants, up to 60% off plants, and that's super exciting. Now, as far as live transplants, you can see right over here, they have some really unique little planters for these air plants. So I'm just going to pick these up, and you can see that these ones are for $8.98. We've got some snowman here, and as far as the holidays, I tell you what, Live Trends Designs actually keeps their planters and plants relevant to the season, which I really like. So it says real plants, real smiles, and look at how cute this little walrus planter is. These ones are really pretty as well, and I wouldn't mind having a air plant, especially if it's going to be in a planter like this. So let's take a look at some of the planters that Live Trends Plants will offer. And over here, we've got some gorgeous looking Phalaenopsis orchids, bromeliads, dendrobium orchids. So this whole section here has a mix of different types of orchids. Now, as far as orchids, Lowe's actually carries other orchids like the Cattleya orchids, Dendrobium orchids, and even Vanda orchids. So if you are an orchid fan, and yes, they are houseplants or can be grown indoors, Lowe's is another place to get them. You can see right here, this is almost in a kokedama style where basically there is like a moss bowl and this actual orchid is growing in that. You can actually hang it. That's pretty cute. I don't have a lot of hanging basket plants just because I don't want to drill a lot of holes in my ceiling, but you can see right here, this one is for $24.98. You can see that they have this Phalaenopsis orchid right here. Love that as well. And I am going to get some more unique ways to display my plants. I definitely want to do terrariums in my houseplant collection as well as kokedama. I think the art of, Japanese art of displaying plants, kokedama style, is really cool. I mean, you can see right over here, this is a very elegant looking Phalaenopsis orchid for $24.98. So as far as finding Phalaenopsis orchids or orchids in general, a big box store like Lowe's, I would say Lowe's has some really good varieties of orchids as well as orchid supplies. And you can see right here, they do also have some bromeliads. So I'm just going to walk around and show you this section of the indoor tropical plants. They just have a bunch of Phalaenopsis orchids by Costa Farms as well as bromeliads right over here. Different kind. We were laughing through the pain. You were never once so bad. Cut the cord that kept us connected, blacking out the mirror where your light once reflected. All of the love from up above, we used to feel like a glove. And I've noticed this Pearls and Jade Pothos has been here for quite a while, but I still love it. I don't actually have a Pearls and Jade Pothos, surprise, surprise. Even though I am in my Pothos era, that is another plant that I would recommend as an easy care plant. And it is a plant that if you're on a budget, they're fairly affordable and you can find them at big box stores. And now we're going to walk around here and I'm going to show you some of the planters that they have available. Really like the fact that Lowe's has a lot of these neutral color plants and these planters and just all of the different types of varieties that they have. And then over here, we have some more plants. You can see that this one is a Vanda orchid right here, and it looks like the blooms are about to be spent. But the thing about Vanda orchids is they actually get really large blooms, which I like. And then we have some more urban jungle ceramic hanging baskets right over here. So you can see this one right here is a philodendron micans, and I love the look of philodendron micans. This one is for $14.98, which is a pretty good deal for a ceramic planter that you can hang up. And as far as the philodendron micans, the thing I will say about it is it can become a very leggy plant quickly if you don't stay on top of the watering for that. Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. This is another plant I would recommend for beginners. It is another pothos plant that I could have multiples of because they are just gorgeous. I mean, look at that neon color of this particular plant. Let me know in the comment section, plant foldies, if you've actually grown pothos plants, specifically the neon pothos, as well as the marble queen pothos. Love the look of a marble queen pothos here. You can see that it clearly has some reversion though, so you can see that that is a result of a marble queen pothos not getting nearly as much light. Certain plants require a certain amount of bright indirect light for them to really have that variegation. The marble queen is one of them. And then I'm going to spin around here and just show you some of the planters that they have, as well as this beautiful Costa Farms hanging basket of Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. This one is for $20.98, and I will always show you golden pothos. And the reason why I will show you golden pothos in all of my videos, if I can help it, is because this is the plant that I believe starts everybody's plant journey. Usually somebody will get gifted a golden pothos, or you will pick up the pothos plant, or people will share cuttings of pothos plants. You can see I just placed it on one of these plant stands. And the thing about pothos plants is, again, they're cost effective, they're easy. I wish that on Cyber Monday or even Black Friday that they would have had some really big pothos sales. I would totally have bought more. I've been seeing a lot of these new varieties of pothos plant hit the market though. Now, as far as pink plants, again, look at this gorgeous bromeliad for $18.98. Bromeliads are very common plants to find at a big box store, but needless to say, I've grown to at least admire them, especially when I see them at big box stores because of the coloration that they have. And then they also have all of these blooming anthuriums. So it's not a dock block anthurium by proven winners, but it is a easy to care for plant. And then over here, this is a Hoya carnosa right here. This is a Crimson Princess for $16.98 by Costa Farms. Love Costa Farms plants. Costa Farms is one of the major plant providers for big box stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. Typically, Lowe's gets the most Costa Farms plants, I believe. And then you can see over here, we've got a Syndapsis Silver Ann, I believe. I don't have a lot of Syndapsis, and the reason being is I'm not as big of a Syndapsis fan because of the growth. If I'm going to pick a plant that's similar, it would definitely be a pothos plant where they're a little bit more fast growing. But needless to say, I would collect Syndapsis because there's a lot of Syndapsis varieties hitting the market. And then over here, you will always see an Aglaonema Red Siam. Yes, Aglaonema Red Siam for $15.98. It looks like Costa Farms has released a lot of them in ceramic planters for the holiday season. I think that it would make a great holiday plant. And then we've got some Pachira aquaticas right here for $15.98. So I need to get a large Pachira aquatica. I think that it is another easy to care for plant. The thing about Pachira aquatica though that you have to be mindful for is it is a little bit spider mite prone. So make sure you stay on top of the watering as well as the pest preventative for a Pachira aquatica. Now these are Dracaenas. These are Dracaena sandriana. So these are also marketed as Lucky Bamboo, but they are actually part of the Dracaena family. Now, as far as the Dracaena sandriana, some people will grow it in straight water or hydroponics. Some people will grow them in a soil substrate. If you are growing them in a soil substrate, they do require a little bit more water than the typical Dracaena. So make sure you stay on top of the watering. You want to make sure that you water the plant completely when it is dry. And then over here, we do have some these are new urban jungle planters. I like it, love it. This is the Epipremnum Aria Marble Queen Pothos, not nearly as variegated. And again, to get that nice variegation for a pothos plant, especially the Marble Queen Pothos, you want to give it quite a bit of light. These are for $24.98. No, actually $28, sorry, $28.98. This one is the gray planter right here with the red Marantha. I want to grow Maranthas, but I've tried to grow a silver band Marantha and it wasn't as forgiving, even though they are said to be a little bit more forgiving when you compare them to Calatheas. Now, this one is a really nice trailing golden pothos right here, and I am about the golden pothos. I am all about the Epipremnum Aureum. These pothos plants, if you don't have one in your plant collection, please add it to your plant collection. They are cost effective. They are a little bit more drought tolerant than the typical plant, and they are low light tolerant. So lots of possibilities to actually propagate them as well. They're easy to propagate. And then over here, you can see that we've got another golden pothos right here by Live Trends Planters. Love that it's got a nice, sleek ceramic planter. It's one of those hanging baskets that I wouldn't mind spending just a little bit more money on because you are getting a very good quality ceramic planter. Live Trends, again, I am partial to them in terms of just the aesthetic that they have for their plants. Their planters is what I mean is because they just have that modern contemporary look about them. And then as I pan away over here, you can see that there's just a lot of different plants to choose from. And so if you were going Black Friday shopping or Cyber Monday shopping, I would still say, even if you're not necessarily seeing those Black Friday sales and you feel like you need to buy a plant, just go ahead and buy a plant. It kind of contradicts though on saving money and holding off from buying plants, but it is the holiday season. I do feel like people spend more money anyways in the month of November and definitely December. I will say I've spent more money on plants in the last 2.5 months now when I kind of reflect back onto it, just a little bit of insights on some of my plant spending. I ended up doing another import from Green Spaces ID. It's an Indonesian seller. My plants have made it to the US. I'm just waiting for it to actually make it to my home. I bought a bunch of aglionemas, and then I ended up getting a group of people who were interested in importing plants. I went ahead and imported some more from Green Spaces ID, got some variegated anthurium. So we'll see what that looks like. It's supposed to ship out in mid-December. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about by importing plants around this time is just the weather. Temperatures have gotten a little cooler, so fingers crossed that they make it to my home safely. I have actually kept a lot of my plants outside. Surprisingly, even though there was a day where it dipped down to 32 degrees, surprisingly, my plants didn't freeze to death. So yes, this coming weekend though, I am off, so I will be doing a lot of plant chores. And for those that are excited, my news is that we will be debuting our plant podcast called The Cultivation Corner on December 9th, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on this channel. It is a plant podcast that I've been working with Janae Simone and Steven of I Lift Plants. Please make sure you are subscribed to their YouTube channels. The reason being is the first 3 episodes of season 1 for the Cultivation Corner plant podcast will debut on each of our channels. So the first video will actually debut next Monday on my channel. Then the second one, which is a holiday plant podcast special, will be Janae Simone's channel. And then the third one, the third episode will be on Steven of I Lift Plants. So please support all of our channels. And also, if you want to watch the rest of the plant podcast, please make sure you are subscribed to the official Cultivation Corner YouTube channel. Yes, we do have a YouTube channel. We don't have that many subscribers, and I did want to ask all of the plant foldies, the 11,000 viewers and subscribers, to go to the Cultivation Corner and please subscribe to the channel. I will actually spend a lot more time there if you are looking for a face reveal. And yes, I mentioned it. We talked about actually doing it on the Cultivation Corner plant podcast, but that really depends if we get that subscriber count up. So the more subscriber count that we get on the Cultivation Corner official YouTube channel, the closer we will get with a face reveal. And hey, you'll see more of me because you'll actually see everything but my face on that plant podcast. So definitely check it out. And it's just as far as the content for that plant podcast, we're just going to be talking about plants, many different types of topics. I believe there's not really a plant podcast out there, so it'd be a unique way to just get more of a plant community involved in it. So definitely wanted you guys to be invited to that. If you haven't already, I've uploaded the debut episode, which will be happening Monday, December 9th at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please hit the like button already on the video. That way we can push it out to more plant lovers before the debut, as well as leaving comments on it as well, what you are expecting from the plant podcast. Now, going back to all of the plants you can see here, I've picked up quite a bit of plants, but as you can tell, I am actually a fan of all of the Live Trends ceramic planters. You can see that this one has a really sleek look about it, and this is a beautiful Marble Queen pothos. Every time I look at Marble Queen pothos, it kind of gets me in the mood to go plant shopping and buy more pothos. Like it's one of those things where I don't know if it really is a plant addiction, but I just can't help myself in terms of just buying these plants. Leave in the comments, plant foldies, if you agree with me about whether you just pick up a plant and then all of a sudden you want to buy multiples of the plant, or you just want to fill up your shopping cart with more plants. It can be a dangerous thing, especially if you are on a plant budget. But I would say the rewards are, yes, it does bring you instant gratification, but the only drawback is once you start looking at your wallet and you don't have any money, you kind of reflect about like why you spent all that money on plants. Another thing that I would say, especially in the holiday season, especially during Black Friday, as well as Cyber Monday sales, is think about maybe looking at your friends that may be able to share some of their plant propagations. I know that I've taken so many pothos cuttings and I'm intending to share them with some friends and family. I think that that's going to be my way of introducing plants to somebody who doesn't really grow houseplants. I talked about that in one of the plant podcast episodes with the Cultivation Corner, is how do you gift plants for somebody who doesn't necessarily grow plants in their houseplant collection? Sometimes whenever you give a gift to somebody that may not necessarily be something that they're interested into, is it more about like forcing them to take the gift, or is it introducing them to a new venue of interest? Leave that in the comments too. That's something that I was actually thinking of. For me, if I'm going to give a plant as a gift to somebody who doesn't grow plants, I would give them something definitely very easy to care for. So, Dracaenas, pothos plants, Aglaonema red Siam, for instance, those plants don't require as much care, meaning that the person that's receiving the plants that may not be a plant collector or necessarily a plant lover, it doesn't feel the burden of having to take care of something that you gave as a gift, if that makes any sense. Now, for $21.98, these are these Dendrobium orchids. Again, I love Dendrobium orchids. I find them quite interesting, and you can see that they're mixed with the bromeliads here. And like I said again, big box store plant shopping, it does bring a sense of joy because you will always find these plants. So for instance, if you don't end up buying these plants, say on a Black Friday shopping spree or a Cyber Monday online purchase, don't worry. Big box stores will always get these plants restocked. I've even seen some of the plants that I thought weren't going to get restocked. For instance, I started seeing Yesenia pothos again. I've seen, ZZ chameleons being brought back. And so it just really depends on the big box store as well as the nursery like Costa Farms having a new crop of plants. So, don't always feel obligated to buy plants. And I mentioned this in a lot of my videos is sometimes whenever I'm at a big box store, the reason why I end up spending more money, and this is another money saving tip if you're looking at your finances when it comes down to like a plant collection, is know that you can say no to yourself in buying a plant. I know that I may not be the best influencer in terms of that because I'll say, hey, if it brings you joy, buy the plant. But truthfully, sometimes you can hold off on buying plants. And I've actually seen that. Like for instance, I wanted to buy a larger Dracaena masangiana. Like these are really gorgeous candidates that I can put in a darker corner of my home. But I know that I will be able to find something like this similar in the months down the line because these plants are readily available. You kind of find them in circulation often. So just a couple of my insights, my plant insights. We are all looking at our finances. I'm actually curious if you are on a tight budget when it comes to like say holiday shopping or Christmas shopping for gifts. Leave that in the comments. Like I said, again, I love all of the engagement you guys give me in terms of just the comments you leave. You'll see that some of my really avid plant foldies will encourage people to leave comments in the comment section as well as hit the like button. It just really makes this community a lot more fun. And I did want to also say thank you to all of the new plant foldies making it into the live premiere chat. It makes it fun to see new faces, and I do miss some of my older plant foldies that were there from the very beginning. You know who you are. I hope that you will join our live chats again because I just love chatting with you guys. And as far as the Cultivation Corner live premiere on December 9th, Monday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I hope we can get a huge crowd. So please share that link to that episode on your social media platforms. Share it with your friends. Tell your your friends that love plants via just voicemail, or just call them. Let them know that the plant podcast, Cultivation Corner, is about to hit the market. We're hoping to get at least 100 viewers live watching that episode next Monday. It's going to be one of the biggest episodes we have, or I'm hoping that it's one of the biggest episodes we'll have during this on this channel. But anyways, I know I keep telling you guys a lot about news and plants. Let's talk about the plants I'm picking up. This one is for $16.98. This is a Fittonia Pink Angel. I do like the hanging basket that Costa Farms provides for Fittonias. It's also known as the nerve plant. Here's the thing about Fittonias. They're very thirsty plants. You want to make sure that you keep their soil moist. So when the soil is about 50% dry, so about an inch to 2 inches down, the surface is dry, you want to go ahead and water that plant. You want to water it thoroughly. If you're able to provide it with a little bit more humidity, it's even going to do better. It does not do well drying out completely, so make sure you keep the soil moist. And it's the same thing with all of these hanging baskets right here. These are all ferns. So typically ferns are going to need more water. They're going to need more humidity. This one is the Black Rabbit's Foot Fern, for instance, for $16.98. And the thing about Black Rabbit Foot Fern that I like is actually the fuzzy aerial roots that it produces. Some people say they look like tarantula legs. I try not to think of it that way. I think of it as just a fuzzy little rabbit foot. And then you can see over here, this is the Chester fern, like this one as well. And the thing about ferns, the way you propagate them is actually through plant separation. I learned that from my grandmother because I'm like, how do you produce so many different types of ferns? And she just says she separates them from the mother plant. So there's many ways of propagating plants. The most effective way is actually separating them from the mother plant when it comes to ferns. Syngonium right here is $16.98. Love Syngoniums. It is probably one of my first loves in terms of a plant. You know, when I think of my first house plant, I remember getting a Syngonium white butterfly. And I only know this because I can remember it, vaguely. And I remember buying it at a big box store called Target, where I think I was either in elementary school or middle school. And we ended up growing that Syngonium white butterfly in a bathroom where it didn't have any light, and for some reason it still did very well for me. So I really like that, and I just remember picking that plant up due to my grandmother's plant influence. You know, as far as my grandmother, I really look up to her in so many aspects, but when it comes to plants, she is really the true plant expert. And I would say she's always told me actually that not everybody believes in a green thumb. She doesn't believe in green thumb. She believes in hard work, routines, and dedication, and she has all of that when it comes to her plants. She definitely has a solid routine for plants. She says, growing plants, it's a job, it's a chore. It's not something that you can just pick up a beautiful plant like at a big box store and think that it's just going to grow. There's going to be a lot of time and effort into it, and then there's also going to be a lot of lessons you learn. For instance, these Rex begonias, as gorgeous as they are, I know that I wouldn't be able to grow these Rex begonias long term because I don't necessarily have the time to really invest in their care in terms of just watering them. They do need to be a little bit more consistently watered. These are for $7.98 by Costa Farms. Beautiful plant. I think I could get away with certain Rex begonias. I know that I have one that has done fairly well for me. Sometimes the leaves will look droopy, and that's just a signal to let me know that, hey, you need to water me like ASAP 911. And then this one right here is everybody's favorite. This is the Hydra Helix, or what you call the Ingrid Liz Hedera Helix. That's the correct way to say it. And yes, I'm going to explain why I say Hydra Helix. For those that are new to the channel, I say Hydra Helix and correct myself to Hedera Helix because for the longest time I thought that was the way to pronounce it. Thank you to the Plant Foldy that kind of corrected me, but it kind of has become a Grow Folds Plant Foldy staple. Some of you guys like to count how many times I've said Hydra Helix. But as of late, I don't feel like I've been saying that nearly as much. There might be another Hydra Helix special. That might be cringy for some of you guys. I know that some people have blatantly said that it sounds very cringy. Well, you know what? I like being cringy. I like being myself. And that's the thing about this plant shopping videos that I make is I like to be my most authentic self. And while I may not be everybody's cup of tea, for those that really appreciate me, I do it for y'all. I do it for myself. And I don't know, I just like Hydra Helix. Anyways, this one right here is another Rex Begonia for $5.98. I do like how it spins around like that. The little swirl on it is really nice. And then obviously with Rex Begonias, there is a beauty about the metallic shine it has. I was actually in a situation where I went through a rabbit's hole. I got in a rabbit's hole when it came down to Rex Begonias because I wanted to collect all of them and they just became difficult. This one is an Asterix ivy. This is another English ivy. And again, with English ivies, I would say if you stay on top of the watering indoors, if you spray them with neem oil and provide them with bright indirect light, you'll have a chance of growing them long-term indoors. One mistake could actually be very detrimental to the English ivy, meaning if you don't water them consistently, they will end up getting spider mites and then it's game over. And plant folies, you'll see a bunch of these exotic angel starter plants. These are for $5.98, and this is a legit Syngonium white butterfly. This is actually the first house plant I've ever grown as a kid. And, I just remember being able to grow this again in a bathroom with no windows, and it did well for me. So I don't know, sometimes plants will survive in the conditions you wouldn't expect them to. And, as far as the Syngonium, again, one thing I've learned about Syngoniums is that you have to water them consistently. So even though they are my first love, if you let them dry out completely for too long, they start to drop their leaves. They become more susceptible to pests and their health just really declines. So while Syngoniums are considered a basic plant, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily the easiest plants to take care of. If you are somebody like me that doesn't water their plants frequently, same thing with these Phytonias right here. This is a red vein Phytonia, and as much as I like Phytonias, at least the look of them because of the red veining or just the pink veinings, it's one of those plants that I've just really held off from buying. And that's the thing about plants. If you know that you have a certain habit of plant care, as in if you're an overwaterer or somebody that doesn't water their plants consistently like me, then you'll kind of know what plants are more susceptible to losing their lives or actually going to plant heaven because of your plant care routines. For me, I have to find plants that are more drought tolerant and definitely low light tolerant because I don't always have the best lighting conditions. I will say on my in my living room we have a really good window, east facing window, and I have a good south facing window, but I really reserve that space for plants that require that bright indirect light. That's like my premium plant spaces for those plants. As far as all of the plants I'm showing you, like this Dracaena right here, this is a Dracaena Dorado for $12.97 again, or 98 cents. This is a Casa Farm 6-inch planter. It is a plant that most people will overlook. Although as I do these plant shopping videos, I want to make sure that I highlight these plants, talk about them, because I feel like a lot of plants gain a lot of attention because of social media. So maybe if I continue to talk about certain plants, that maybe they will become a little bit more common for the people to buy these plants in their plant collection. I mean, for example, the Dock Block Anthurium Michelle by Proven Winners. I mean, that was just a trending plant. And even people that were not really anthurium growers were going out and about, going to these big box stores and going plant hunting because it was trending on TikTok. It was trending on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name any social media platform, and that plant was trending. I'm hoping that as they continue to talk about these easy care plants, that people will start to talk about it. Maybe more people will get into it. I've been given comments that there are certain plants that they've never seen until I started showing them on my plant shopping video. So I'm glad that there's a little bit more exposure for certain plants. I mean, you can see right here, I'm picking up a bunch of crotons, and again with crotons, they're a lot love, or you either love them or you hate them. I absolutely adore them. I love them. They remind me of my home country, which is the Philippines, and these plants grow so well in a tropical, humid environment. Now, these plants, when grown indoors though, they don't do as well because they need so much light. And you can see right here, that is another Hydra Helix, or a Hedera Helix English Ivy. This one again is for $5.98. I don't know if anybody's been able to grow them long term. The only person that I know that has been able to grow them long term is my best friend Isaac, who also has a YouTube channel, Hi JR Sings. I also have an interview where I did a conversation with him about the plants that he's grown. Most of them are actually rescue plants from some of the plants that I just didn't have the patience to rehab, or plants that I've neglected. Now, this one right here for $16.98 is a really nice looking Hawaiian spider plant. So this one has a different type of green on green variegation. This is another plant that I would like to add to my collection. It's not the typical spider plant. If you find one like this is a pretty good looking one. I wouldn't mind buying it again for $16.98. And then you can see right over here, we've got a black rabbit's foot fern and another green marantha. Look how gorgeous that is. Actually, the leaves are perfect, but the thing about these plants, these marantha plants, they are just a little bit more challenging to grow than the typical house plant. So unless you have high humidity and also have the patience to water them consistently, I wouldn't recommend them. Classic, gorgeous, beautiful Philodendron Hederaceum Neon. I love it. I can have multiples of these as well. This one is for $16.98, and I'm glad that Casa Farms has re-released a lot of these out in the market again. I ended up buying one, actually an 8-inch planter, just because why not, right? There are certain plants, like even this Neon Pothos right here in an 8-inch planter for $20.98. I wouldn't mind adding them to my collection because, again, these are easy to care for plants. These are gorgeous plants. I love neon colored plants, and everybody needs a pothos in their houseplant collection. Now, for those that agree with me, please leave it in the comments if you do agree. And if you made it this far into the video and haven't hit the like button, could you please hit the like button? I know that I've probably repeated myself multiple times, but it really does help me with my plant shopping videos. It just pushes this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. Now, as far as these larger plants right here, we've got some ZZ plants. And, ZZ plants are probably the easiest plant to take care of. You don't have to water them as consistently either. You want to make sure that their soil dries out completely and they can tolerate really low light conditions. Same thing with the Sansevieria or snake plant. And you can see there is another Neon Pothos right here. Love it. Honestly, I could have a whole room full of like Neon Pothos plants. When somebody asks me what is my favorite pothos plant, it's really hard. But when I really just think about the plant that, the pothos plant that brings me a lot of joy, it would be the Neon Pothos, because it's a fast grower and it's a neon colored plant. It's very consistent for me. You can see over here, we have another Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf tree. Love this as well. And, that's a plant that some people will say has been a finicky plant for them. But for me, I ended up finding it on sale for 99 cents and it's done very well for me. This one right here is a Xanthosoma, so it's similar to a Caladium. Really like the look of this plant, and some people say it's a challenging plant, but it's actually done very well for me as well. It does let you know when it does need water. It starts to droop its leaves. Same thing with this Green Shields plant. Both of them, I have larger varieties of them, a little bit more bushy than these ones, but needless to say, beautiful green on green variegation again, and I just love the look of these plants. They have become more common in the market, and that's the thing about houseplants. We are consistently getting new releases, and I have to thank Casa Farms specifically because they are always pushing the envelope in trying to find more plants that could be readily available for our households. And as far as the Xanthosoma, love it. I love the Green Shields plant as well, and we're just going to keep walking around. Now, these are all trending tropical plants by Casa Farms for $19.98, and we have an Alocasia poly here. This one is for $15.98, and I do want more Alocasias in my life, specifically the variegated ones, but it is all about trying to find that happy medium where I can grow them in a sustainable substrate. So I actually grow them in Lechuza Pond. It's semi-hydro, and they've done very well for me. Now, the Alocasia Jacqueline, this is another one for $20.98. I like the look of this plant. It's just this plant doesn't necessarily like me. So it's one of those plants that's just a little bit more challenging. I wish I could grow them more consistently, but unfortunately that is not the case. And then we're going to look at this Sansevieria or snake plant right here. This is a Sansevieria trifasciata. Beautiful plant. And what I like about it is look at the borders of the leaves on it. It looks really nice. I like the fact that it's got a solid middle part and then the borders has some type of pattern on it. I like that as well. And then we're just going to continue to look at all of the plants that Costa Farms has. Again, if you are somebody that goes and does Cyber Monday plant shopping, let me know in the comment section what online sellers sell Cyber Monday plant deals, what plant deals you got on Cyber Monday. You know, Black Friday sales, they all kind of coincide with each other, but I've noticed so that at least at big box stores, they don't really have huge Cyber Monday sales or Black Friday deals on Costa Farms plant or all of these plants that we find at big box stores. I will say, look at how gorgeous these calatheas are. $15.98. Unfortunately, not a single one will make it into my household for the next 6 months at least. As tempting as they are, they just don't do well for me. And then after a while, you know, we learn our lessons in terms of like what plants we're actually adding to our plant collection. For me, calatheas are just not gonna work for me. They go to plant heaven so quickly. And you can see we find so many Epipremnum aureum. This is the Pothos Lemon Meringue by Costa Farms. So this is a Costa Farms release for $19.98. And again, this is another one of those pothos though that is very similar to the Global Green pothos. It's also similar to the Enjoy pothos. That type of leaf shape is a lot smaller and they're very slow growers as compared to the Golden pothos. Now this one is in a self-watering planter for $15.98. Easy care plant, one that I would recommend in anybody's house collection. And then we also have some Scindapsus Trubii Moonlight. This is one of the plants that is on queue for me to eventually buy and add to my plant collection. I do like the look of it. I like that metallic shine about it, that silvery blue tone, and it is another easy to care for plant. Now, as far as the silver tones, it has more pronounced silver coloration when you are providing it with more bright indirect light. ZZ plant for $15.98. One of the easiest, most durable plants, one that I would recommend. And this is the thing, again, plant foldies, is I am showing you the Easy Care basic plants. Syngonium Maria, for instance, this one's $15.98, and it's a healthy looking one. I love all the Aglaonemas, and I know that some of you guys are probably tired of me talking about Aglaonemas, but I do apologize. That is one of the plants that I am passionate about, trying to get more people growing Aglaonemas, because they are so underrated, they are so underappreciated, and they're plants that will bring you joy. Like this Aglaonema Silver Bay, for instance, $15.98. This will grow into a really large plant, and it is a slower growing plant, but it's one that you can put in a darker area in your space and it will still do fine. Aglaonemas are hard to come by, at least the more colorful versions of it. So as far as the Silver Bay, yes, it is common, but it is one that I would recommend in anybody's space because it can tolerate lower light conditions, and they are very drought tolerant as well. They also push out little babies that you can separate from the mother plant. So you can notice this one has a lot of little babies you can separate from and get multiple plants. And that's another way to save money, or at least get the best value for your dollar, as well as your finances for plant budgeting, is when you find plants that have multiple plants in a pot. $19.98. I'm actually super tempted to buy another Aglaonema Aglionema Pink Siam. I mean, this is gorgeous. This is healthy. This is one that I love because of the white stems and then also the pink borders, and it's an Aglionema. As far as this version, this is a little bit more uncommon versus the red Siam, but needless to say, easy to care for plant, and if you give it a lot of light, bright light, it will push out even more pink. So I'm just going to keep looking over here and looking at all of these pink Siams, these Aglionema Pink Siams. Let me know in the comment section if you like Aglionemas, if you've bought Aglionemas since watching my plant shopping videos. Would really like that insight from you. And I mean, I just love comments anyway. I mean, as far as, you know, everybody tuning into the live premiere chats, it's always fun, but I also like rereading any of the comments you guys leave me. Know that I will respond to every single comment. So if you have a question, if you have plant care tips, if you like Aglionemas, for instance, let me know, because everybody here watching this video today, you've got to slow down and buy yourself an Aglionema, like this Aglionema Pink Siam, $19.98, again by Costa Farms, Trending Tropicals. And I hope that Costa Farms will release even more new varieties of Aglionemas. I think that they're so underappreciated. I cannot repeat myself. I can repeat myself a million times, and I just feel like not everybody is going to be about Aglionemas. I think you should be. It's one of those plants that you're going to see in my plant shopping videos regardless, because I love them. And that's the thing. As we add plants to our plant collection, we tend to cater to certain plants just because the aesthetics of the plants, or the care tips of the plants, or maybe that emotional connection we have with the plants. For me, it's Aglionemas because I do like colorful plants and they're drought tolerant and low light tolerant. So why would you not add, you know, an Aglionema Pink Siam? I feel like I'm trying to sell these plants to people. Yes, I am, but I don't have any shame with that because they are such durable and gorgeous plants that everybody needs to add to their plant collection. As you can see, there's just so many Costa Farms plants. I really love this Lowe's location because they're always full. I mean, you can see right over here, Aglionema BJ Friedman. This one I believe is for like $49.98, but this is $49.98 by Costa Farms. Love this plant. This plant is a plant that you can put in a darker space in your home and it will still do well. I am thinking about getting a large BJ Friedman Aglionema at some point, once I get my plant, actually organized at my home. And then here is a Philodendron Painted Lady. This is for $19.98. The only thing about Philodendron Painted Lady is it's really quite challenging to keep that yellow neon color. It's going to need a lot of light for it to keep its colors, but either way, it is a beautiful plant. It's in a self-watering planter by Costa Farms, and you can see that Costa Farms is sending a lot of these plants specifically at this Lowe's location. So if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it is worth mentioning that if you want to travel to this Lowe's location, this one is off of Preston Road, right in between Warren Road, right next to the 99 Ranch grocery store. So definitely check it out. And you can see over here, $15.98. These are the combination planters. So this one has a parlor palm, a golden pothos, and some type of plant. I think it might be a waffle plant. And then you can see over here a philodendron white knight. So they're shipping out a bunch of philodendron white knights. This one is for $19.98. Really like that variegation. There is a little bit of cosmetic damage to it, but either way, you know, that's the thing about Costa Farms. They produce plants, they get them out to these big box stores. I love big box store plant shopping in the sense that you will find all of these plants that used to cost quite a bit of money. Like this one is a Philodendron Pink Princess. Now, care tips for both Philodendron Pink Princess and Philodendron White Knight is bright indirect light, water when the soil is either 60% dry or completely dry. Give it a good soak, and that's basically it. These are fast growing plants as well. They are going to need a moss pole, a totem pole, or something to support them. And then here is a Philodendron Ring of Fire. This one doesn't have nearly as much variegation. I've noticed that some of the sizing for the Philodendron Ring of Fires vary in size, and you can see this is another beautiful Philodendron White Knight. Love it as well. And this one is for $19.98. Really like the look of that as well. So As far as philodendron white knight, I like it, and it is another plant that, you know, you have to watch for the variegation, because sometimes a white will definitely brown up and crisp up. It's just natural and it's part of it. So if you have browning or crisping leaves, you can just take a pair of scissors and just snip it off, and then you are good to go. And an Alocasia Jacqueline for only $13.98 by Urban Jungle. So if you don't want to spend $19.98 for a 6-inch planter by Costa Farms, you can go the Urban Jungle Plants route and buy an Alocasia Jacqueline for only $13.98. Really like that there are options for us. So if we're looking to save a little bit of money, you can always compare and contrast plants, and that's part of your managing your finances, looking at your plant budget, looking at how you can save money on plants. You know, we are going Black Friday plant shopping, and then also Cyber Monday plant shopping. So for those that have been able to get some really good deals as far as plants on sale, please leave that in the comments. And again, if you made it this far into the video, please hit the like button. It definitely helps push this video out to more plant lovers like yourself. And then this is one of my favorite Aglaonemas. It just looks like a very durable Aglaonema. This one has white stems as well. This one is for $15.98. I have been putting a lot of my Aglaonemas in LECA semi-hydroponics, just to see if I can grow them even easier than just putting them in soil substrates. And you can see we've got more Urban Jungle plants right over here. They've just got a surplus of plants where they have to have like more shelving. And then over here is one of my favorites. You can see that they've got a bunch of Aglaonemas, and we also have a neon pothos, again $20.98. So it looks like Costa Farms has released a lot of these neon pothos, philodendron heteroecium neons. Love neon plants. You can always count on me to have multiples of that. And then you can see right here, Aglaonema anyamaniae. This is another trending tropicals plant by Costa Farms for $19.98. And as far as Aglaonemas, I think the reason why they are underrated is because we don't have nearly as many varieties available. And then maybe there's just not a social media presence about it. I think a lot of the Aglaonemas you see, or the hybrids, if you really look enough, it's really hybridized in like Indonesia, in Thailand, and there's not a lot of channels that really feature those beautiful Aglaonemas that you would see in Indonesia and Thailand. I mean, you can see that there are some here, like this Aglaonema Pink Siam used to be quite expensive, and now that it is readily available at a big box store like Lowe's, thanks to Costa Farms, you can see that you can get a beautiful plant like that. And you can see that as far as all the Aglaonemas you pick, that I'm picking up right now, all of them I own. Every single Aglaonema that Costa Farms has put out as of lately, I have ended up buying them, and I am excited about how they will grow for me long term. A lot of my Aglaonemas are doing very well. Some of my import Aglaonemas have an acclimation period where they do lose a leaf or two, but that's just really because they've traveled so far. But these Aglaonema, whenever I buy them like at Lowe's and I transfer them into LECA or Lechuza Pond, the roots are very thick and they're very healthy, and that's the best way to get them into another substrate. And you can see right here, this is an Aglaonema Golden Fluorite. This has been recently released again, and you can see that the Aglaonema Golden Fluorite has many faces. Sometimes it's a little bit paler, it's a little bit more yellow, but sometimes it's a little bit more green. And you can see we've got some more Aglaonema Pink Siams right here. I think I am going to eventually just buy an Aglaonema Pink Siam, just because why not? I love pink plants. Aglaonemas are durable. Aglaonemas all need to be in your plant collection. Again, plant foldies. I'm telling you, this holiday season, go ahead and treat yourself to your own Christmas present by getting yourself an Aglaonema. Over here, we've got some ZZ Chameleons. I ended up buying them because ZZ plants are very durable. They're really easy. The only thing is with the chameleon ZZ plant, you need to provide it with a lot of light in order for it to maintain that variegation. Otherwise, it'll revert back to more of a green color. And then here is another Aglaonema anyamaniae. Love it. Love it a lot, and it is just such a beautiful pink plant, and it's a plant that you can put in a darker space and it will still hold on to that coloration. $19.98. And then we have a geo plant. I will never buy this type of geo plant because it's just so difficult to keep alive. It needs to be watered consistently. And then you can see that I am going to just do a little bit of a detailed feature on this Aglaonema. Look at how gorgeous this one is. This is the Golden Fluorite. Again, Beautiful plant, and you can see that it's got that red veining and then the pink stems and then just the different colors of green and yellow. There's just so much going on with Aglaonemas, and even though they are a slower growing plant, it's still a plant that I definitely want to collect. I would consider myself an Aglaonema collector for sure, because I have been hunting them down, even importing them from Indonesia. And this is interesting. Did not expect to find a Syngonium Willandii hanging basket, $16.98. So, you know, whenever you find one of those unexpected plant finds, your plant budget goes away. Like, I am definitely going to buy this because Syngonium Willandii hanging basket for $16.98. That is a really good deal. It is more of a finicky Syngonium, though. It has a velvety texture, so it does prefer a little bit more humidity. Either way, it's still a nice plant. It's a plant that I would recommend for anybody who wants to collect Syngoniums. And whenever it matures, it actually loses the middle silver point, but it does get these trilobes, $16.98. Let me know in the comments if you would buy a Syngonium Willandii. Like, I really didn't expect to see a Syngonium Willandii. That is really uncommon to find at a big box store. And, you know, that's the thing about going big box store plant shopping. Sometimes when you least expect it is when you find the plant. It's kind of like when I was searching for the Dock Block Antheria Michelle by Proven Winners at Home Depot. It was just really challenging to find it. And then all of a sudden, when I was giving up, I ended up finding it. And the same thing with the Syngonium Willandii. I was not even expecting to buy it. Yes, I'm trying to manage my finances when it comes to plants, but this one is going to break my budget just a little bit. $16.98 is not bad because it's already trailing. It's already got a nice full plant on it. And, you know, Syngonium Willandii, even though it's not really as rare or uncommon anymore, it's still one of those plants that you don't really see often. And I don't have a Syngonium Willandii in my collection anymore. I ended up neglecting it and it went to Plant Heaven. But today I am going to buy this. We'll consider this my Cyber Monday plant find. I went to Cyber Monday plant shopping without the actual Cyber Monday sale, but it's okay. You know, I'm just really excited that I was able to find another plant that I did not expect. This is definitely a plant find, Syngonium Willandii. There's only 2 hanging baskets. I'm trying to decide which one I should buy. I'm thinking either this one or the first one. They're both very good specimens. I would say whenever you're selecting plants, look for one that has new growth, also a lot more fuller of a plant, and just making sure that there aren't any plant pests, considering like webbing, that could be like spider mites, or anything fuzzy, that could be mealybugs. So if it passes that, then it just kind of makes it even more difficult for me to choose the plant. But as you can see right here, what an amazing Lowe's. This particular Lowe's off of Preston Road, in between Preston Road and Warren Road, next to 99 Ranch, is always a satisfying place to go buy my plants. I mean, this Syngonium Willandii, yep, I'm definitely going to purchase it. It makes me happy. I'm going to go ahead and do it and see what you guys think. So hopefully you've enjoyed my Black Friday plant shopping, my Cyber Monday plant shopping, however you want to call it. This is just my little series heading out of Thanksgiving. You already know that it is Christmas shopping time, and I am really curious to see what other plants we will find, what plants we'll end up giving each other, you know, as far as like Christmas presents. For me, I'm just going to keep giving myself Christmas presents throughout the year, whether it's, you know, this time of the year or in January. But as you can see right here, it's kind of tough not to go buy plants. I mean, this is a really nice and full Lowe's. As you can tell, I'm literally at Home Depot, Lowe's, or Walmart. I mean, look at that. I am impressed with this particular Lowe's. I mean, kudos to the staff. Kudos to Costa Farms, Urban Jungle Plants, Live Trend Plants for just always providing us with beautiful plants to buy and grow in our plant collection. So hopefully everybody's had a wonderful weekend. I mean, it is the first week of December. Let me know if you've already started your Christmas shopping, if you are buying plants to give to plant lovers or people that don't grow plants. You know, my only suggestion is if you're going to give somebody a plant as a Christmas present, make sure it is an easy to care for plant. Unless it is a plant collector, just make sure you know what plants that they're really into. As always, please make sure you hit the like button for this video. Would really help me out, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel at Grow Folds for daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. This is Richie. I'll see you on the next one.